The abstract clearly provides an outline for the reason for performing this study. Measles is a disease that is a major cause of death and illness. The participants included were children who were randomly assigned to have either the intervention or the comparison. In this study, the aerosolized vaccine was being compared against the subcutaneous vaccine. An open-label non-inferiority trial was conducted with primary endpoints looking at immunogenicity and safety. The abstract also indicates that certain data specimens were missing due to poor transportation. This limitation did impact the study, but analysis was done to correct it. At the end of the abstract, it lists who funded the project as well as the trial registration number to help decrease publication bias. The World Health Organization's Global Vaccine Action Plan hopes to eliminate measles from at least 5 different WHO regions by 2020. This is not of great concern in the Western world. However, major outbreaks continue, especially in resource-poor countries. The need for new approaches to the vaccine could greatly lead to the goal of elimination. If alternatives to the injection could be provided, then the vaccine would become more accessible, save on costs, and reduce the incidence of injection-related infections. An aerosolized version of the vaccine has been developed and used in Mexico since the 1980s. However, data regarding the efficacy of the aerosolized measles vaccine remains inconsistent in the literature. 2 comprehensive reviews concluded that the aerosolized version is non-inferior to the subcutaneous version. However, 2 randomized controlled trials also showed small differences and risk of bias in the results. In this random open-label non-inferiority trial involving children in India, the question was to compare the levels of immunology and safety in a primary dose of aerosolized measles vaccine with that of a primary dose of a subcutaneous vaccine. The authors did a brief background and history of the disease and provided us with a rationale that the study is necessary. It looked at previous literature and convinced the reader that the current evidence is insufficient. As they state their purpose, they also introduce the study in question and the primary endpoints.
Children were assigned using block randomization in a 1-to-1 ratio using a secure web-based application. Inclusion and exclusion criteria were based on WHO guidelines. Children either received the aerosolized version or the subcutaneous injection. The intervention contained at least 1,000 viral infective units of measles virus in each dose. The primary endpoint was seropositivity for serum antibodies against measles on day 91 after vaccination. This was measured using ELISA and PRNT assays. The primary safety outcome was the number of adverse events up to 91 days after vaccination. Information was collected using questionnaires. Secondary endpoints were seroconversion and geometric mean concentrations of antibodies. Seroconversion is defined as the time period during which an antibody becomes detectable in the blood. The authors defined this period from day 0 to day 91. Because the parents and investigators could not be blinded, investigator bias could occur. To minimize bias, all outcome assessments were blinded. This means analysis was performed on coded specimens, data checks were performed, and field workers used follow-up report forms that did not record method of vaccination.
Created using Powtoon.